An age gap relationship, a 10, a 20, a 30-year difference between my age and her age, or your age and her age. I don't think any other topic creates more heated debate and raised eyebrows when you bring it up. And people definitely have opinions about it. I want to explore some of those opinions and why some will work and why some are destined to fail. Well, first thing, real quick, I want to get this off my chest, is I'm not trying to come off as some kind of relationship guru. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm just an average Joe going through life who happens to be in a 30-year age gap with my Filipina. So everything that I say in this video is going to be simply from observations and from my own experiences. So one of the first things that I'd like to address is just the visuals. Okay, you got an old, wrinkled up, 71-year-old guy like myself, and I come bouncing hand in hand through the mall with my 40-year-old wife who looks 30 years old. It's a weird look. I think you're right if you think that. The reason I have to agree with you is I think the same thing. And to this day, even though I'm in one of those relationships, when I see a really, really old guy with a really, really young woman, I think my thinking is pretty much on the same line as most folks. That just doesn't look right. And I have no argument for it. I'm not here to defend it. I just want to take a look at what the dynamics are and how these things happen to begin with. The first thing that I'll say is that you do not see this type of age gap, 10, 20, 30 years in my home country, the United States. It's just not that prevalent. We're out here in Southeast Asia. It's definitely not the norm, but it also isn't considered to be unusual. People don't give me or anybody else that's in this type of relationship a second look. Where I'm convinced that if I went back to America with my wife right now and went for that little walk in the mall, there would be some rubbernecking going on. Well, before we even put the age gap on the table, one thing that I think needs to be addressed first and build the foundation upon for the balance of this little video is, what is it that across the boards, in general, what is it that men look for, seek, and desire in a female? And let's flip it around. What do you think that a woman is looking for in a man, a lifetime partner, or a serious relationship? I would really, really appreciate it if you're watching this and you pause the video for a second and in the comment section, simply answer that. I think men are looking for blank, and I think women are looking for blank. That would be doing old Paulie boy here a big solid, because I think that is the entire basis of this entire conversation. A relationship with that big of an age gap has to be transactional. She wants him for his money is the most often quoted line, and he just wants her for her beauty and her body. And I got to agree with you, once again, that's correct. It is transactional. I would further go into it though by asking this question: what in life is not transactional? If you meet someone that's 50 years old and you're 50 years old, are you still not trying to see what that person's bringing to the party as she is looking to see what you bring into the party? So if you're the same age, does that attitude change? That's another question that I like to rise to the occasion and answer here in this video. I think that every action and interaction between people is transactional to some degree. We're all looking out for number one. We want to see, what is it that this person brings to my party? And then we think, what can we bring to theirs so that we don't lose them? We want to keep them because guess what? We're getting along great, and I want the party and the ball to keep rolling. All right, so one more question that's often brought up, or statement that's often brought up, and then I'm going to get into what my responses to all those questions are, is if the woman that is 20 or 30 years younger than you was college educated, did not come from a rural or poor background, is seeking a career, would she suddenly become interested in a guy like me? And my answer to that, to be truthful and honest and transparent with you, is no way, no how. She's not. She's going to be focused on, she's already been educated. She's already got, say, a college degree. She's pursuing her career. She's moving forward. So there's no real need for her to look for any type of special financial security. And if you think differently, I think you're just plain wrong. There is not going to be that opportunity when you're dealing with someone that is highly educated, highly motivated, and knows what she wants and is going to obtain it. She is someone that is functioning very, very well in the society that she's been born in, probably elevated above it to some degree. And bottom line, she doesn't need me or anybody else to come along with our foreigner money, supposedly, and lift her up and out of despair. Again, that's just me giving a transparent and full disclosure of how I really think about all this. So after all these years of living over here and observing all of this, and I have agreed with the 3 hot topics that most people feel makes the relationship disingenuous. One thing that I've never heard anybody make a real solid argument about and have it backed up with anything is a moral question. Is anything that's being done in these relationships, is it immoral? I would love to hear someone's thought process on that, because of all the objections that I've heard and all of the condescending statements that have been made, none of them has ever approached that and been able to significantly convince me that anything that I'm doing or that my wife is doing or other people are doing that are involved in a age gap relationship is not moral. I would love to hear what somebody's got to say about that. And if you do, please try to back it up so that it makes sense and stupid me can understand it. So I said at the onset of this video that I wasn't going to sit here and try to defend my 30-year age gap with my wife. And it's simple. I don't have to. I feel that since it's not immoral, and since we're 2 consenting adults, what happens between us is just that. It's what happens. Now, I've agreed that of all the points that I made about it looks funny, and you don't see that back home, and she must be poor, and it's all transactional, I have agreed with all of that. But one thing that I won't agree with is what happens between 2 people can be dictated by society, by you, the news, the standards, the girls on The View. None of them can tell me how to live my life or set the limits and the limitations to what I can or can't do and what my wife can or can't do or should or shouldn't do. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section. That's my take on it. We're not being immoral. We're both adults, and believe it or not, we're both having a pretty damn good time. I hope to see you guys in the next video.